So back-to-back weeks in the NFC South specifically, Carolina and Tampa sit atop the standings. And over the course of these couple of weeks, both had what many would consider gimme games to boost their potential playoff hopes. But ladies and gentlemen, meet Tyler Shough.
One-on-one with J.C. Horn up top.
On third down, Shough goes that way. Olave, touchdown!
Now rewind it real quick. We've got a 3rd and 6 and 7 bodies up front in a sim pressure look for Carolina. Your job as a quarterback is to read those extra bodies, including the safety down at the bottom of the screen, to decipher the coverage. One of two options come to mind. Are they dropping into a zone, or is it a full house set? Half a second off the snap, it looks like it's going to be the latter here. Now, while he's in the midst of deciphering the scheme, he knows this entire time that Chris Olave is on a low post route solo side of the formation. You now know the call is cover 0, and that one high safety is going to be crashing to his assignment on the trip side. Locate the void and strike when he's on the break. Now, some of you are probably thinking, sure, great timing, solid anticipation on the throw, but more or less, it's really just a simple pitch and catch that we broke down here. And I wouldn't even disagree with that. But the context, yeah, that's at the top of the priority list. That one throw capped off a 7-play, 83-yard touchdown drive late in the 4th quarter, going up against a division rival, in practically what felt like a gotta-have-it game from the opposite side of the equation. And oh yeah, not to mention, the next time he got his hands on the football, he pretty much coasted through operating a 1-minute drill and teed up his team for a 2nd straight unprecedented division victory. Now, I'm not here to make predictions, definitive statements. I'm simply here to tell you what we know right now. Tyler Shough currently has a borderline top 10 completion percentage in football. He has the most wins of any rookie quarterback. His 3rd down dropback conversion rate doesn't even seem feasible given this team's current situation. But above all else, is it too early to say he's the guy?
Got a 1st and 10 at the 13. Shough. Oh, here they come up the middle. He got away from one. He got away from Vele. Here he goes.
No way.
Touchdown! His 2nd touchdown run today. Shough from 13.
Pocket awareness and protection of the football. 2 of the top traits in his game that you could argue go hand in hand as to why he's Kellen Moore's starting quarterback now. Another quick rep from Sunday for an example. Carolina seems as if they're in another quarters type shell defensively, and New Orleans breaks the huddle in a 2x1 split back set. Shough motions Taysom Hill out, and really no budge that you see at least from that shell. But do any of you remember about a minute prior in this video, I very briefly showcased him picking up and converting against a quarters poach style of a scheme? Well, flip back to the present, and that is the exact same case scenario that we're dealing with here. Now, the poach safety specifically, he's going to be acting as a lurker for any crossing routes coming in his direction from the trip side. If you're potentially wondering why from the bigger picture, there's really no reason for him to stay on his split of the field given the receiver distribution. So basically, it's cover 4 to the strength of the formation, said poacher, and what essentially turns into man-to-man coverage for routes on the backside. Now look at the play design, and pay attention to his progressions and presence in the pocket. Pump and fake the screen on 1, scan 2, and scan 3 over the ball. Now, any rookie quarterback could easily panic with pressure arm's length away in about 2 or 3 seconds and try to rip this ball into the slant immediately. But he also knows if he bails out back, he's got one of 2 options. Olave one-on-one on the comeback, or green grass in front of him given both the route combination and the coverage. Now, ironically enough, he didn't even throw the football on this play, but the point that we're trying to get across still stands here. Kellen Moore doesn't just know this guy's strengths. He's catering this offense entirely into them. But before we get into that, we got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, an Arena Club. Now, if any of y'all have been in the trading card game, I know that you know the grind of it. The box buying, grading, trading and selling aspects. Long story short, at times it can be inconvenient. And that is where Arena Club has flipped the script entirely. I mean, it's everything you could want at the tip of your fingers. Digital packs starting at $25 and up with real graded cards inside, including grails that are up to 20 times the price of the pack. And this is what I love about it. You see all possibilities of exactly what's inside the pack you're ripping. Pull rates, card details. But at this rate, I've already pushed this off long enough. If y'all are like me, you gotta rip the pack the second you get your hands on it. So that I did, Ruby Football Slab Pack, and yeah, I'm not complaining adding a Panini Mosaic Matt Ryan to the collection. And even right off your rip if you want, Arena Club will give you an offer based on estimated value, but I'm gonna go ahead and send this over to my showroom where I can potentially trade or auction it later. No exaggeration, you guys, it truly does not get any easier than this. I've been absolutely loving Arena Club, and y'all will too. And if any of you do jump in, you can actually get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase if you go to arenaclub.com/digest and use code DIGEST at checkout. Link will be in the description. Again, code DIGEST at checkout. And thank you to Arena Club for sponsoring this video. Now let's make one thing very clear here. It doesn't matter how slick, quick, nimble in the pocket you may be, a lack of consistent pass protection will ultimately take its toll on any given quarterback. But don't get me wrong with making that statement either. Bright spots are there, and they're obviously headlined by the rookie addition and Calvin Banks on the outside. By no means are they a bottom-of-the-barrel team in this regard, but they're still on the wrong side of the charts in terms of quarterback pressures and sack counts. And more times than not, it's with only 4 bodies getting sent at the backfield. So, if you're overpowered in the trenches, and of course because of that being flooded in the secondary, how do you give a guy with 7 games under his belt the advantage?
Seeming to be in flow state a little bit throwing the football.
Seeing the picture down the middle. He's got Olave this time. And Shough with time again. He'll sling it far side. He's got Olave again.
Really good to have him making plays on this drive in the fourth quarter.
Shough again. Olave again. Inside the 20. Make it, take it for Olave right now.
Now, if you're keeping track at home, that adds up to 51 yards in 3 straight plays and under 30 total seconds of game clock. New Orleans operates this season at the 2nd highest pace of offensive tempo in all of football, which, when you're consistently on the fly up to the line, like they've been ever since his takeover as QB1, not only are you forcing your opponent to stay in the exact same personnel grouping and essentially killing their substitution options, but you also force repetitiveness and, for lack of a better term, vanilla looks in defensive play calling. Hindsight shows you that all 3 of those completions we just watched were to Chris Olave. But funny enough, they were all also against the exact same cover 3 concept from Carolina. Double hitches on both sides of the formation, and it's paired with a basic slant over the middle of the field. I mean, you could argue that every play design you just watched follows the exact same principles here. Occupies specific portions of the field, and like we teased earlier, let your quarterback use his vision to create those gaps in coverage.
The only team that runs more tempo than the Saints is Washington.
And it's another way to make a young quarterback feel comfortable. Tyler Shough is coming from many systems where he ran up-tempo, no-huddle offenses.
And these routes specifically, they are the key to how a quarterback with his skill set thrives in this offense. Now, just for reference again, it's 3rd and 10, and there's plenty of time left on the play clock here. And because of that, with the Bucs being in a panic mode on the fly, they go with the basic quarters call defensively. And if I had to guess, the tag on the coverage looks more so like palms than anything. Basically, it still plays like quarters, but the responsibilities of the boundary corners are a tad different than usual. Typically, you would just end up seeing him take the number 1 receiver if he does end up releasing vertical, but instead, his hyper-focus is going to be on the number 2 receiver that's releasing out of this bunch for New Orleans. Now, if you look about half a second post-snap, you'll see that the number 2 ends up being Chris Olave. That boundary corner's responsibilities are to both be alert for a potential deep ball down the field, and as said, stay lurking to that lower outside, ready to jump a route in that direction. If you rewind back to pre-snap, I'm willing to bet that Shough, Olave, and Kellen Moore were all on the same page here. A flat corner, and what you could probably assume is a choice for him. He works upfield, locates the gap in coverage, and Shough anticipated it perfectly.
He's on the outside, he's going to work his way up. Watch, he's trailing the other receiver, and then he stops at the numbers. Instead of running out to the sideline, it's a specific play where you want to stop at the numbers because that's right in the middle of the zone.
Now, a basic 12-yard completion, I mean, 95% of people see it in the stats and think absolutely nothing of it. But it's all situational. And you cannot mistake how crucial of a conversion that is to keep a 4th quarter drive alive. Now we're in the exact same possession just 3 minutes later. You've got a 3rd and 8, another quarter's coverage dialed up from the secondary, and yet again a 3-by-1 formation attacking it. Now it seems as if off the motion that Kellen Moore called for a fade with a drag that's split by a Chris Olave choice route out of the slot yet again. And given the inside leverage of the closest defender to him, he's ultimately going to choose to break this out to the sideline. Now I want you to watch Shough's progression off the snap. You can see that he likely reads Olave initially, but the pocket ends up collapsing too quick before the route actually fully stems and breaks outside. So rather than panicking and throwing up a prayer, he resets, rotates back to his front side, and that's not just knowing where your check down is, but that is high IQ and protecting the football. 2 plays that seem unbelievably simple. But those 2 plays turned either a punt or a field goal into 6 on the very next snap of the football.
Kevin, how he got away from that? I know you said 13, but it was really like 50 because he dropped all the way back to like the 25-30 yard line.
Now believe me, I'm not here trying to convince you guys that we're looking at the perfect rookie quarterback here. There's been plenty of examples in his play where he's seen eerily similar looks to ones that we've already broke down in this video, and he's mistakenly put the ball in harm's way, like every rookie quarterback you've ever watched in your life. Same exact case in point can be made from the lens of some of those choice routes. A cover 3 buzz call that includes a frontline drop for Tampa, and ironically enough, a dropout route for Olave at the top of your screen. Now Shough on his drop reads the safety in a frontside rotation and, likely as he should, rips this ball down the sideline, but it's just a simple miscue between the 2. And that is ultimately where you're seeing the biggest difference. The growing chemistry and cohesion between him and the wide receiver core is why he looks like a top year 1 quarterback in the sport right now. Ever since Shaheed got sent out the door, you don't necessarily see those deep shots incorporated very often in this offense. But if he does read your rotation and knows there's no help over the top, he's proven he can put that velocity on the football if it's needed.
Pressure coming. Shough has a moment, goes deep down the sideline, and the catch is made, and taking it in is Chris Olave for a Saints touchdown. He left the defender and smoked J.C. Horn, one of the best in the league.
And that quick, decisive, but also at times patient processing, you could argue it's looked just as effective when he's under pressure so far this season as well. The big question though, is he the future in New Orleans? Time's only going to tell. But that's also where I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate y'all more than anything, and I'll see you in the next one.